Good morning, viewers, and welcome to TDN Africa Media. I am your host, Sahr Aruna, and my guest for today's program is the outgoing and incumbent District Council Chairman for Falaba District Council under the Sierra Leone People's Party (SLPP), Mr. Ibrahim Sorie Sesay. Once again, you are most welcome to TDN Africa Media.
Thank you so much.
All right. The first question is maybe today is the first time for some people to know you or to watch you through social media. Can you please tell viewers a little bit about who is Ibrahim Sorie Sesay?
I'm Ibrahim Sorie Sesay, like you said, and I'm the outgoing District Council Chairman for Falaba, but also I'm still aspiring to come again on June 24. I came into office through a by-election in 2019. The election was on October 26th, and I assumed office on 3rd February 2020.
Okay. In a brief and short, please take us through exactly some of your work you have been doing in terms of development in Falaba District.
Thanks again. For Falaba District, like we all are aware, it's a new district. Some of the worst portions of Kwanadugu district that was taken off to get what we today call Falaba district, a place that had been deprived of government interventions for far too long. For over a decade, nothing had been happening there. We had the worst road networks. The human capacity in terms of education had been low in the district, and in fact, we've not been competitive like other districts. Well, partially because of the size of Kwanedugu in the past. So the focus was around the periphery of Kabbalah. So those distant places, anywhere beyond Sinkunya, was hard to reach and was literally forgotten. When I came into office after the by-election of 2019, I found the district in that same position. But we tried. Being a new district, it was difficult having the devolved sectors really stationed in the district. But that's the first thing we tried. As I speak, we have a fully functional DHMT team in the district with full staff complement, and the same for other devolved sectors, the agriculture, the social welfare, and the rest. Education, they're all there now, they're all housed. So we even have that budgetary constraints because we have to rent houses to use as offices for these devolved sectors. We've moved a little. If you check the number of PHUs at the time when I took over had increased by 6 now.
Okay.
And we're working very closely with development partners. We have the likes of Green Helmet. They are helping us with the infrastructure aspect in the health sector, whilst we come in as government to ensure that we provide the staff and then the equipment for those facilities. They've built a number of them for us, and we're still using private houses to run clinics in the district, PHUs. So that's one, and then in the same health sector, since we have limited PHUs, it means the scope they are covering is normally wide. So we tried to get motorcycles. We didn't wait for the central government to do that. We tried to get motorcycles to enhance outreach activities of the health personnel in the localities they cover. So we've done that, and in the education sector, we've been working very closely with the likes of CRS. They're doing so much in the rehabilitation of schools, and then the school feeding program. We too have, as a country, there you go to SAMU, These are done with our own funds. In the water sector, we've got partners have been very much close with the likes of World Vision and UNICEF. They are providing borehole facilities and to some point gravity water scheme in many places, but also I have senior colleagues, senior politicians. I'm working with the likes of the Minister of Defense. He too has his own program. I'm working very closely with him. We're doing it together. We're currently doing 15 boreholes. We've done 5 already. We still have 12 in Falaba and then 3 in Kwanadugu. We are extending arms to Kwanadugu as well. So we're doing all of that. And for direct council project, I can tell you that since I assumed office, I've received direct council civil works projects, ranging from the construction of roads to hospitals, markets, and the like. A number of them, almost all the chiefdoms, apart from the Mbele Musa chiefdom. But what I did for them also was a great one. I prioritized the Kuromansilaya as the vegetable value chain under the youth empowerment project of the GIZ and the NACSA. So year in, year out, NACSA will ask me to submit list of routes that links farms to those to the vegetable value chain at Kuromansilaya, and because of that, Musaya had benefited more routes. Dembele Musa had benefited more routes than any other chiefdom.
Because that will have been my next questions. Somebody watching you now knows that Falaba district is one of the districts with road constraints. So how far have you gone really to make sure that there are a lot of roads and culverts during your time of office?
Yeah, you'll agree with me that we have road constraints. Yes, I agree with you completely. And when I assumed office, that has been my primary target. The first institution I targeted was, in fact, the Minister of Finance. They assisted us. If you go to Kurubola now, there is a fine road, a fine bridge linking Kurubola to Popon. These are 2 strategic communities in the chiefdom, but had been cut off by a river that required an 18-meter bridge. But also, if you go to Sulima, you look at Kwendukura to Kalere, we did that road, and it's still one of the best. We've been rehabilitating from Kwendukura to Bada Timbako. That's all in Sulima chiefdom. As recently as, it's even ongoing. You go to Kabelea. We know NACSA did some work from Bindi to Buntula, and they will have Falaba to Ganya to Simita connected. But all their economic activities are linked with Bindi. So we had a very terrible road between Simita and Kabuya. So we are doing that now. If you go there, it's good, and then the people are appreciating it. You go to Upper Deldu in Delmandugu chiefdom. That has been a cut-off point. The people there are literally considered to be Guineans now because they have actually nothing to do in this part of the country. But we are doing those culverts there now, so they are reconnected. You go to places like Bumunkoro. When it was amalgamated, these were places that were forgotten because all focus was on Kurubola. Now the paramount chief, PCMP, is resident in Bumunkoro. That's the chiefdom headquarter. But it is totally delinked. It was totally delinked from the Mongo Kurubola main road. We're doing all of those culverts. We've linked Kono to Kulo Saradu. I'm sure you are aware, Kulo Saradu actually doesn't have a motorable link to the rest of Falaba. But in my opinion, what is more important now is not linking them with Falaba, rather linking them to places where you can get their industrial materials, specifically Kwedu. So we're doing bridges along that road. We've done that for Nedu, we've done that for Kulo Saradu. I go to Wele Barawa chiefdom. We did the road from Kalkoya Sokurala in Sengbe chiefdom to Frawa in the Wele Barawa, the Wele Barawa chiefdom headquarters. We've taken care of all those culverts. So you go to Lower Kamadu, Sokurala. those places have never seen concrete works on their roads before. We've done all of those ones. You go to Mongo Chiefdom, Karafaya to Walia. Walia used to be a very strategic border market.
Okay.
Yeah, after the war, it's collapsed, and then because of the road network, it had found it very difficult to get back to its feet. But we've connected that one to the main Kabbalah Mongo highway. So we've done a lot in the road sector. There are still a lot of gaps though,
Okay.
but we're still doing our best.
All right, of course, you and I know that your 5 years was not enough to complete all development, and development is ongoing. So, what are your developmental plans if you are voted in again for the second time? What are your plans ahead?
Well, first, it's not even 5 years. I spent 3 years in office.
Okay, sorry for that.
I assumed office on February 3rd, 2020, and I left again February 28th. We will continue from where we've stopped, but also I've found out that development and the change that brings about development actually doesn't come from Freetown.
Okay.
It comes from the smaller settings in the provinces. So my next ambition is to, while we continue with those strategic programs that we've already started, like you're aware, we have the EU project, we're doing a lot with that one. I also want to start working with smaller groups to see how we can start those changes that we require to change the dynamics of this district and indeed the country as a whole. So I want to start working with smaller groups. Thank God we win the election is between 2023 and 2028 is agriculture. Okay. So we want to look into that. I want to sit and with smaller groups, smaller communities, and then we start the change there. We've all seen the effect of climate change. We're now experiencing rains, heavy rains at the wrong time, and then when we actually expect the rains, they're not coming. So I want to see how we can set that one up. And then even we talk about the exchange rate. In my opinion, I have an economics background though. You talk about exchange rates and the devaluation of the leone or so, because we are not exporting anything, but we import basically everything. So if we start our own agriculture, we really add value into agriculture in our respective communities, which I intend to do next. Okay. Trust, we might not produce enough for export, but we will cut down on imports. And if you cut down on your import, that means the demand for forex will also reduce, because you will not be importing much, in as much as you will not be having foreign exchange through export, but your demand for forex for import will also reduce. So, and that is one way and one sustainable way to maintain the value of the local currency. So I want to start it at the lower level. It is easier for them to understand, and I'm sure I will not reach out everywhere, but certainly people will look at those changes. They will look at the impacts created in those smaller communities and then emulate us. By that, it will move out of smaller communities to the wider district and then to the nation as a whole, because definitely people will admire you.
Okay, viewers may want to know, how have you been maintaining the council, because of you and I know exactly that taxation was very poor during your time. So, like, how have you been maintaining the council financially?
It had been hectic. Basically, they say you cut your coat according to your size. I'm sure I have a lot of experience working with the council before. Okay. And I know things that are not necessary. So we cut down on those expenses. Okay. With the limited resources we have, we've always been able to match other councils. Our reports have been consistent. Our audit reports have been positive. Problems. So I talk to the staff and they see me as one of them. Okay. They know what is possible. They know that I know what works and I know what doesn't work, because I started working with the local council in strategic positions from 2004 until my election in 2019.
Okay.
So, and I worked with most of them, including the chief administrator.
Okay.
So he knows that I know what works and I know what cannot be managed.
Okay.
I know it's the difficulty. I've been able to manage to keep the staff in the vicinity of Falaba. We know the constraints, how difficult it is, but I know their challenges and I try as much as possible to address them. The resources are not there. The administrative grants we have per year is not up to 50 million.
Oh.
I'll tell you that we need the electricity running because the generator has to come on.
Okay.
The bikes have to go to the field to monitor.
Okay.
So for each project we have, if we have an administrative cost, we capitalize on that and then get more fuel, get more stationery. We are now working to see how we can broaden our revenue base. In the past, honestly, we've been getting little revenue from the timber dues.
Okay.
I never liked it though because the destruction cost on our roads cannot be compared to what we collect as a revenue from timber dues. We cannot fix a culvert with timber dues, so we've been using them. But like I said, we've always been learning to manage. So we use motorcycles when necessary. Okay. Because when there are constraints with fuel, you cannot continue using the vehicle between Kabala and Mongo. So sometimes, most of the times, we park the vehicle in Kabala and then we move on motorcycles to Mongo and back. So all in a bid to reduce costs.
Okay, let's watch at the cordiality between the council and the European Union in terms of support.
That's one area we want to capitalize.
Okay.
Yeah, the European Union delegation has a project management unit they established of the office that looks after their project. That unit has been very, very pleased with us. The EU had been very pleased with us in terms of reporting. They will always say we joined the moving train because Falaba and Cambia came in the middle of the project. That project was meant for 4 councils, but when we came in, the government advocated that we are new and deprived district, so they made a mega budget for us of about 1,050,000 euros, while others were having 4 million euros. So we said, okay, with small money we should be able to meet all targets. We did the work plans together, we did the budgeting together, and we've been able to meet up with all of those deadlines. We meet with all deadlines, and our reports have been satisfactory. The EU had commended us, and we will be going to capitalize on this experience with the EU to ask for more. Okay. Yes, once elections are ended, we will ask for more.
All right, of course.